right, I'm here today with Viktor of Brymir to talk about Voices in the Sky, out August 26th on Napalm Records. It's been a long time since I've seen this beautiful face. How are you doing today?
I'm good. I'm really excited about the week. It's a big week for us. And it's been a kind of a stressful start because our Facebook page got taken over by hackers yesterday.
Oh, wow.
You
know what that means? That means you guys are big now.
Yeah, apparently, yeah. Napalm did actually warn us about it, that take care, but we had this our drummer's personal account got hacked like badly, and his whole computer got encrypted and shit. So it was like a kind of forced. There was nothing we could do about it, but it was just like funny because a few minutes earlier I sent the label my quote regarding our new single coming out tomorrow, Fly With Me Away, the video and the song that it tells about this social media suffering on social media. And then a few minutes later, I get a notification, your access has been blocked, and I just crashed. I was like, no. But then I thought like, okay, maybe we can turn this into a positive thing, just emphasize the message that, the internet is such a wild and dangerous place and nobody is safe.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. But let's talk about positive things. Let's talk about Voices in the Sky. And I want to go back a little bit because Wings of Fire was such a great success for you guys. How much of that success impacted the creation of this album?
A lot, of course. Like we were supposed to start writing and recording in 2020 for the new record, and we were riding on this tsunami of inspiration we got from the success of the previous album. It was like it really boosted us, and it boosted our morale and our creative flow, and we were just ready to get back at it. And then when the COVID stuff started happening, it was kind of the fall was kind of extra hard because of that, because we were so like up high and suddenly we crashed. So initially that kind of contrast on our mood had a very negative impact on the process of writing, but eventually when we recovered, it again turned into a kind of we really wanted to get back to that high place that we were, and we got this incredible hunger from just remembering how awesome 2019 was. And 2021 was a great boost, just carried by this wave of nostalgia and memories.
What do you see as the main element of this album that perhaps separates this record from all the previous ones?
I think it would be the fact that the song writing is more based around the band itself, like the instruments that we have on stage. That my writing used to be a bit more like kind of maybe keyboard and synth oriented. I used to make demos like with synthesizers from a really early stage in writing, but now this time around we started introducing guitars really early in the pre-production phase. And also maybe just realizing that we don't have a keyboard player anymore, because we were so used to having Jan, our ex-keyboardist, in the band, and it's still the same mentality stayed with the songwriting and production. Like, okay, we're a band which has a keyboard player, but now we took the leap and realized, hey, actually we're just 5 guys on stage now, so maybe we should just instead of making this and this melody for the violins or the horns or something, then let's make everything we can express with a lead guitar. We do with that instead, even if the first demo had a really cool synthesizer sound or orchestration. So we tone down on the synths and bring out the metal instruments. That's the biggest difference.
The funny thing is that's the main difference that I noticed as well when I was listening to the album. And one of the reasons why I actually enjoy this record a lot more than the previous album was because of that. It felt more natural. It felt more organic. It didn't feel as computerized, if you will. Are you guys at this point in time now? You have not a very deep discography, but you have a discography behind you. Do you guys look back at the previous records to find some inspiration for future records, or you're always looking forward, not necessarily looking backwards?
It's kind of hard to say, because all the music, the inspiration stems from the same place, which is it's the sounds that we grew up hearing. So we always kind of draw from those inspirations, and it will always come out this Brymir sound that we have kind of established. But then at the same time, I like to go forward and not think too much about what we did before. because I think as an artist, it's really healthy to kind of evolve and go forward instead of looking back, and not like comparing yourself to your older records too much, because then you might feel like, oh, that was so much better on that record or something. You have to be leave and keep an open mind, because I think that's when you write your best songs.
I felt listening to this album, and I hate using this expression because I feel it's such a cliche, but I felt like this album was a more mature record. Not just from the sound, and I think what you mentioned about the change in the process had an impact, but also from an overall design perspective. I felt like there was more of a growth that the listener can go through in the journey that you guys put together. Was that a conscious effort, or that kind of happened naturally?
I think it happened pretty naturally, and that also I think has something to do with how we thought about it being like the songs being kind of more optimized for the band itself, that we kind of found our sonic identity just by kind of going back to basics and seeing like who we are, what do I really sound like, what's this guy's strengths or this guy's strengths, and just kind of lean into that. So that's one of the reasons for sure why it became kind of more natural. And also from a productive perspective, that's about production perspective.
Tongue twister is a tongue twister.
Yeah, production perspective, wanted to have a bit more kind of a raw and more natural sound, and not to be too polished, because I feel that the Wings of Fire record, it was a bit too polished, but maybe I was a bit scared to keep it rough. Also, like I was really confident about the songs this time, also because Wings of Fire, the songs were written over such a long time, like 5 years. And then you kind of start doubting the songs a lot, because you've heard them so many times, and you start kind of polishing them too much just so that nobody notices this flaw or something like this. Now it was more like, okay, this rocks, and just push the sliders up to full power and just blast it.
And I also thought was really interesting that you guys left the cover for the end, because I think if you put that cover anywhere else on the album, it doesn't really work. You kind of want to have that flow of the record, and then almost feel like this is a bonus track in your Japanese edition thing, like you just put it right at the end. But why Dark Funeral? I thought that was really interesting.
Well, back in 2012, when Patrick, our drummer, joined, Dark Funeral was one of the things that me and him connected really deeply over, because we were both loving this really fast and evil, Scandinavian black metal, and we really bonded over that band. And me and Patrick have been talking for years about making some kind of cover just as a hobby. We even started a couple of songs sometimes, like Vobiscum Satanas and other classics by Dark Funeral, but we never managed to finish them because we are really busy. And now we're like, okay, we have resources, we have a budget to do this, so why not pay respects to one of the factors that made that we bonded over as a band, when he joined. And also the cover art is also really dark, and the whole period when we wrote the album was really dark, and maybe we needed to let out some steam, and
yeah, it's a much darker album than the previous one. I mean, even from an artwork point of view.
Yeah, it's darker for sure. The lyrics are also much darker. I've heard other people also saying that the previous albums had more like kind of a light at the end of the tunnel, thing going on with the lyrics, but this album is many of them are written during a time when there's no light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah.
And so yeah, you can hear it in the music, and you can read it in the lyrics, and we wanted also the cover art to reflect that.
When you guys are inserting the choirs in the choruses, which is something that's very consistent throughout the entire album, what is the main goal? What are you guys trying to achieve with that?
Well, we want to express the feeling in the chorus, and for many songs, clean vocals is the way to do it. And this is gonna sound maybe funny, but none of us in the band is a really super mega good clean vocalist like that. So we figured out this kind of system for clean vocals during the production of Wings of Fire, that okay, we're like mediocre singers, but we still have like I told you it's gonna be funny. Yeah, we're like clean vocals, but yeah, we're getting better as we go, of course. But we thought, okay, we know kind of how to sing. We have a distinct, powerful voices and stuff like this, but we're not like, really like soloist singers, with the, vibrato and everything. So maybe like, okay, let's put like 100 tracks on top of each other. And then we get this Brymir kind of sound, because Brymir has always been like a kind of a, track stacking band. So let's apply the same formula to vocals. And also it becomes really unique because we do it in a way that it's mostly just me and Joona singing, on the record. And we can make a stack of 100 tracks with just me and Joona and make this really unique blend. So it's maybe like 60 of me and 40 of him or something like this. And that became a staple of the Brymir sound. And it was kind of I don't even know how it happened originally. I'm also really fan of this certain type of choirs, of this Gregorian sound and yeah. Also the way how I build up the chords in the choirs, that I sing the chords like they would be keyboards. So I sing like different lines and to make the chords, and then I sing the leads on top of them. It's a unique style, and I think it's really, really cool that we found it, and it's become one of the most important elements in our music.
Do you worry a little bit about the choirs taking a little bit of the spotlight away from you?
No, not at all.
I mean, it's still you, but do you worry about that at all?
No, I'm humble enough.
So my next question, I think I know what the answer is. Is there something you would like to add to your repertoire that it would give you a little bit more tools that you currently don't have? Would that be the clean vocals?
Do you mean repertoire as in
terms of your range, in terms of what you can deliver vocally?
Yeah, I would love to do more clean vocals, but this is the thing that's been developing, because like kind of me starting to sing clean vocals, it wasn't really ever a planned thing like that. It just kind of happened, and with every record it's getting better and better. And I know like now during the last few weeks or maybe month of recording this new record, I discovered so many new techniques. I was like, oh, I wish I knew this like 6 months ago. So I'm sure the next album will have a lot of more cool stuff that we haven't heard before, and I think also some more like kind of solo, vocal parts where it's not the choir. We're upgrading step by step. Every album
step by step. You guys are always improving, which is a great thing to do. It's a great thing to do. Do you have a favorite song on this record when it comes to your vocal performance? Like one day you cannot wait to perform live.
Well, I do love Forged in War. It's one of my favorite ones. It has this kind of thrash metal rap kind of style, which I really like. That's one. And then of course like this kind of, we call it the battery sound, which is just like screaming, which you can hear on Fly With Me. This really just screaming on the top of your throat without actually breaking into this growl. This is something I really look forward to getting into the live scenario.
You guys are a band of brothers, I know that, but who's the voice of reason when you guys are working on a new record, when you guys are in the studio? Like somebody has to come down and put the hammer down. Who's that person?
Well, Patrick is pretty wise. He's often the guy, like when I have some wild ideas and I send them around to the guys, and I'm just like, okay, here is the new version, this is it. And then he questions my judgment. I'm like, what? You question me? Like, what the fuck, man? Like, this is done. I've heard this a million times, and I know it's good. And then it takes like a day or two, and I'm like, fuck, he's right. Then I have to go like, sorry, Patrick, you were right. Let's make these changes. He's smart. He's smart. I should. But this also learned like next time I will probably like immediately when he says something like, I'm like, yes, sensei, I will do it.
At least you're very humble to know your limits and to understand that he's telling you the truth. He's not holding back.
I learn as I go.
This is the band's first release with Napalm Records. How was the relationship born, and what changed for you guys, if anything, when it came to putting this album out?
Well, the relationship started. It was a really nice surprise. I was just going to the store with my girlfriend, and my phone chimed, and I looked at it, and it said like, "Hi, this is Napalm Records. Do you want the partnership?" I was like, what? So it came out of the blue, the offer, and we were blown away and really grateful. And then we negotiated with them for a year or something, and then we signed. and it's really great to have a partner, and that's what's going to change with this partnership, is that we have unprecedented access to the European and the worldwide market, because we've been a kind of a DIY band for a long time, and we didn't have any connections and also resources to go touring like the tour we're doing now with Finchol. Stuff like this is really hard to get if you don't have really credible, you know, partners in the industry, and we hope that it's going to open very many other opportunities, like, you know, the festival scene in Europe, and just the promo. Like I've heard it so many times now, when like reading the comment sections for our music, that this is the first time I heard about them, and I've done interviews with journalists who also like you know, they've listened to this genre for a long time and been in the, you know, in the industry, and this is the first time they hear of us.
Wow.
Yeah. So
That's crazy.
we've had very limited reach.
Yeah,
so far.
and this opens the doors outside of Europe too, in North America as well, because, you know, like a lot of people are going to be able to check you guys out. Your videos now are on Napalm Records, which obviously is going to create a huge amount of publicity, a huge amount of viewership. So I'm glad that other people are getting on the Brymir boat, a boat that I've been on for a very long time, but I'm glad to see others finally joining in. And that takes me to my last question. Last time I saw you guys perform, last time I saw you guys, period, was at Dark River Festival in 2019, before the pandemic. We had a great time at the festival, at the apartment afterwards. I know you guys played there again this summer. How was it?
It was great. It was one of the highlights for sure, because the festival is it's cozy in a way that there is not nowhere else. You know, it's not like, you know, kind of, you know, dressed up in this fancy production stuff, and it's like just really bare bones, like a great kind of community vibe metal festival. It's not the biggest one, but the vibe is very, very special there, and we had a great time. It was sad that we couldn't stay until the very end, because our driver had to stay sober, and he wanted to get to Helsinki so we can actually go partying. So our loss, but
well, I wasn't there this time, so I couldn't offer you guys a place to crash. So and next time. How many songs did you guys play from the new record on that set?
We played the two released ones, and one other one, Borderland. We've been playing that live for a while. And yeah, now the next gig we have in Turku is gonna be after the release, and now we're really stressed out practicing the new songs because they are pretty difficult.
Well, you recorded them, now you have to play them. It comes with the territory.
Yep, it does.
Well, Viktor, thank you very much for your time today, man. It's always a pleasure chatting with you. I'm planning on being in Finland next year, so hopefully we'll cross paths. We'll see each other at a festival. It's always a pleasure hanging out with you guys. So all the best, man.
Thanks, Pedro. See you.
Take care, man. Bye.
No, bye.